And for the next fight, we have Lando, Vannata versus Mike Grundy. For Lando, 11-5-2, and Grundy 12-2. Grundy, 34 years old, out of Team Liverpool, 5'7" with the 72-inch reach. On the other side, for Lando, 29 years old, first fight at 145. Or if it's not his first, it's his first in a while, and 71-inch reach. As well, fighting out of Jackson Wink. He has had some real notable fights, as we know. Lando, he's a fan favorite. You know, he got that flashy stand-up. He has good spinning kicks. He has a bit of a weird UFC career, though. He came in, like I said, with some good hype. Had a hell of a performance against Tony back in 2016 before he ended up getting Darced. But at this point, I feel like Lando is what he is. You know, he's going to have some big wins. Then he's going to have some big losses. There was hope that he could, like, break into, like, the rankings and kind of be a top guy. I think at one point, you know, years ago, he was looking like he could be one of them guys. But I think now he's kind of plateaued, and he just, you know, he kind of is what he is. He's a fun fighter to watch, but I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him fight many submission artists or any good grapplers as well. So this is really going to be interesting to me because for Mike Grundy, on the other end, he is a specialist. He is a grappler. He's a smart grappler. And he will look to get this fight to the floor early and often. And I don't see Lando being able to stay on the feet long enough to get anything off or to land anything devastating. Grundy, he doesn't have a lot of big names on his rap sheet as of yet. This is probably going to be the biggest fight of his career. But I do see Grundy getting this done, getting this to the floor, possibly even getting the finish. But he does have a strong power double, and I feel like he's going to get this one down. And for the odds on this, they have Lando at plus 100 and Grundy at minus 130. I think Grundy is a good bet there at minus 130. What do you got?
Yeah, man, this seems like a classic case of, you know, the heavier fighter coming down off losses, you know, coming down to a lower weight class to try to have a resurgence and whatnot. Lando is coming down from 55 to 45 here to take on Grundy. Grundy's just a strong wrestler, man. I just see him putting Vannata on his back, and it's going to be rinse and repeat pretty much. With that being said, Lando is a good wrestler in his own right, but a real stat that stuck out to me was that this man's like 0-5-1 in any fight that he's been taken down in, right? So just picture that, right? And then on the flip side, picture who he's fighting, Mike Grundy. That's all that man does. So it's I don't like it too much. Grundy is coming off a loss to Movzar Evelev. And Evelev's doing real good, man. He came off, I think, a win against Nick Lentz where he looked super dominant. Was in a little bit of trouble with the guillotine, just like Mike Grundy threatened in his fight against him. So he's faced good competition. Before coming to the UFC, he just fought a lot of cans. A lot of lower level guys, and he pretty much just humped some of them out, and then most of them he pretty much manned them and got those those strongman submissions, key locks, Kimuras, and whatnot. So he hasn't really faced too many top level wrestlers or top defensive wrestlers at a high level, and being that Vannata is the heavier guy coming down, it might be a little bit of a problem for him. I don't anticipate it being a problem at all, but you can't. I wouldn't want to put my money on it, thinking that Grundy is going to go out there and straight hump him out. On the flip side, I don't believe Vannata is going to go out there and get a knockout, so maybe an over on this one is live as well. As for me, I don't like. I wouldn't place a bet on this fight. Pure pick. I had to pick one. I'm picking Grundy. Grundy decision.
All right, so it looks like we're both going Grundy on here. This one's a real interesting fight to me. This is like a stand-up dude versus a real grappler, So should be interesting. We'll see who comes out on top.